There are so many iconic power systems that have emerged from the shonen genre. Ki, stance, chakra, magic, ryotsu, haki, and of course you can't forget nin are just a few of the most iconic ones. A power system holds the combat of a series to a certain technical level and gradually begins to improve as the system is expanded upon. While grimoires from Black Clover come off as a more self-explanatory and yet gradually progressive system, nin can be seen as one of the most technical and intricate systems because of how many layers there are with the different categories of nin control and how a character might apply it to their fighting style. For me, one of my favorite types of power systems is what I call the supply and apply system. A series will have a power system that has a source, which acts like the fuel for different types of weapons or techniques in the series, and those techniques vary depending on the characteristics of the character. Two series that have done this to perfection are none other than Jujutsu Kaisen and World Trigger. Both of these series have been regarded to have some of the best combat within current Shonen Jump, but to understand why, let's talk about their power system aspects and how they play out so perfectly with every exchange of blows. Jujutsu Kaisen's supply or source of energy in the series is known as curse energy. Born from negative emotions from everyday people, curse energy under the right training can be harnessed, controlled, and applied to various techniques that we have seen in the series. Whether it's Yuji's punches infused with curse energy or Nobura's straw doll technique, there are many variations of these techniques that fit the characters based on their background, personality, or preferred fighting style. What makes me really like JJK's power system is that it has a very similar Hunter x Hunter engage and disassemble strategy. What I mean by that is that each user will not know the very specifics of another's technique, and thus the only way to go about figuring it out is to engage in combat and disassemble your opponent's technique or strategy. This creates a sense of satisfaction for the audience because every move must be carefully thought out, and those who stand triumphant typically earn their victory on the battlefield. Megumi is one of the main people who embody this concept. The concept of his 10 Shadows technique is easy to understand, but with the different types of Shikigami that he can summon, it does lead to him using an arsenal of them depending on who he is fighting, and sometimes, as shown in the most recent chapters, using his domain expansion when the conditions are met. Whereas looking at Yuji being as strong as he is would only make sense for him to have a hand-to-hand combat ability, especially one that can attack the shape of the soul that ties directly in with his long battle with Mahito throughout the series. Another thing I appreciate about Jujutsu Kaisen is that there's a general concern of curse energy depletion unless you're Gojo. Domain expansions function like Bankais in this series in a way that not only is it the trump card that should turn the tide of the fight, but also requires a lot of curse energy to pull it off. This concern tends to keep a balance in terms of not spamming in domain while also allowing room for well thought out fights with an expansion to come along for the epic finish. It always allows Gege to plan out perfectly executed hype moments because when we do see a domain, it tends to be really exciting. Going into the Shibuya incident whenever season 2 is announced, there will also be the anime introduction of things like domain amplification and falling blossom emotion, all in which are countermeasures to the domain expansion, yet assuring that just because a pinnacle technique is called into play does not automatically mean an instant victory. Now in terms of how Gege cultivated such a perfect system, the inspiration came from none other than World Trigger, who has just also recently wrapped up their 3rd season, ending off the rank wars and beginning the away mission saga. World Trigger's power system is the embodiment of an example Gojo mentioned in JJK with electricity and an appliance. The source of energy in this show is known as Trion, stored in an invisible gland in the human body, and the amount can vary per person. What the Trion fuels are known as triggers. When you activate a trigger, you transform into a Trion body, one that can only take damage from other Trion sources and protects your real one while you are in combat. Additionally, that body comes with a loadout, and this is where World Trigger's combat takes off into a new realm of real-time strategy. Each agent is equipped with a loadout of choice varying with all types of weapons, utilities, and sometimes unique add-ons. We got swords, shields, snipers, shotgun, axes, snipers, grenade launchers, the raw bullet combinations themselves, and a whole lot more. Each team has different roles between attackers, snipers, gunners, and shooters, and the all-rounders who can flex between multiple roles. Together with different loadouts and different amounts of Trion per person, each team tackles each other's weaknesses and prioritizes their strengths through strategy and critical outplay. The main showcases of the combat have been through the Rank Wars tournament, which is the team rank grind, and the invasions in which the enemies from abroad bring the fight on home turf. For Mikumo, the leader of our main group, he uses a giant shield that not only defends but can be used for an offensive slash combined with their gunner roll using the asteroid bullet set, and has wires that not only block off enemies but combos with the fast blade user Kuga, who is also the second lead of the show, allowing his combat to enter a zone of its own. Chika is the female lead of the show that has the largest Treon volume in the entire series, which has been both a blessing and a curse with tying into her character arc. She is able to produce all sorts of combinations with her sniping and make bullets more powerful and heavier compared to the rest. Now on one hand that sounds OP, but the author keeps her in balance with the concept of her not being able to actually shoot real people, hence going back into her many combinations of sniping with a bullet that when it comes into contact would immobilize you. Not everyone has the Treon levels to combine such a thing together, and that is what allows her to be a special type of sniper that she is. On top of just the general triggers, we also have the black triggers that in the right hand of the right user could repel an entire army. So far in the series our main heroes have two, but outside of them being a powerful weapon to turn the tide, they also serve a huge narrative purpose. Now one of the ways that world trigger represents the value of Treon is in a green light cube structure, but for black trigger users they tend to be black cubes. Black triggers are created through the sacrifice of others, and unlike regular triggers, the performance is incomparable. For Kuga, his black trigger serves as a source of his life as his decaying real body is sealed inside of it. On usage, it turns into a suit which allows Kuga to use a combination of seals that can have all sorts of utility, defense, and offensive capability. Season 1 in the fight against Visa is the most notable performance, introducing seals like Echo as well. On the other hand, we have Jin, aka the Power Elite, and his black trigger named Fujin. Created by his mentor who laid down his life, Fujin is a sword that allows slashes to travel along surfaces to extend its range and capabilities. To Jin, however, the weapon has a lot more meaning to him. It serves as a legacy from a mentor and a tool to protect others and lead them to a brighter future. Both of these power systems are without a doubt some of my favorites, but there are plenty of them out there that are just as great. Most notably, Undead Unluck's Negator system happens to be really fun of Hunter x Hunter, and Twin Star Exorcist is another neat system that has all sorts of exorcism tropes and makes the best version out of them. I definitely recommend both of these series in case you need something new to read as well. With that, it's going to bring me to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite power systems are. As always, stay safe and warm out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.